Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So hopefully now the green screen is up and running, so hopefully you should just see an outline of me. Although I've not really got the lighting set up properly, so it might be a little bit funny and not quite right, but we'll work on it. But anyway, today's video is going to be focused on the Tier 6 Roman Heavy Infantry, the Armored Legionaries. So I've been having a few games with these guys. I've got a few bits upgraded. I've got the shields, still got the weapons and some of the armour upgrades to do, so still a way to go. But I have been enjoying them. How do they compare to sort of the Tier 5 before is that they lose their speed. Obviously, if you remember, at the Tier 5, the Principes, which I was playing recently, you have two choices. The line splits to the Standard Legionaries or the Armoured Legionaries. Perhaps better to see this in the tech tree. So yeah, here the line splits. I've chosen to go down the Armoured Legionaries. In hindsight, that may have been an error. They are very slow. They really lose a lot of their speed, and not just straight line speed, but acceleration and turn speed, and their ability to manoeuvre at all is very slow compared to the Principes, and that really is kind of a letdown, considering some of my tactics sort of revolve around engaging one unit, moving other units around, and sort of picking and choosing my fights, which kind of makes it hard with the Armoured Legionaries. So if I did it again, I might try the Tier 6 Legionaries. I might go perhaps once obviously we're approaching the open beta now, and the wipe, so I won't bother, but if I go back and do it again, I'd probably have a go at the Legionaries instead, and see how they compare. But the guys are pretty good. They are tough, and once they get into a fight, they do hold their own very well. They're the sort of classic Roman infantry. Good attack, really good strong defence. I've not got unfortunately not got the weapons upgrade yet, so I've not got quite their full attack potential. But that will get better once we've got that upgrade. Obviously, I'm running with consumables, as I always do. And I've got the Vengeance now probably upgraded to the increased melee attack. So, I think there's not really a lot else to say other than let's just hop into a game and see how we get on. So, we're just loading into the Battle of Thermopylae, and then we'll pick where we're going to make our start. On this side. I'll probably go for there. I'll probably move up to this central point. I'm going to try and avoid the forest. Obviously, as I was saying earlier, these guys are really slow, and if you take them into the forest, then the speed just becomes, you just go so slowly, you just can't get anywhere in time, and everyone can avoid you. You can't force a fight, anything like that. So I'm probably going to advance up to this central point here. Hopefully we'll get a bit of support from some of our team. We've got no archers at all on our team, so I'm hoping the same is true for the enemy team, otherwise we could be in trouble. So I'll make quite an aggressive start. We'll just move straight up to the point. The other problem with these guys I find is because it all stems to their speed. Because they're so slow, it's kind of, once you pick a direction, you're kind of stuck that way. If I advance up to here or further, then I'm never going to be able to get back in base in time to do anything at all. So that kind of limits your opportunities. Whereas the Principes, they weren't fast by any means, but at least had some speed. And you can see how slow these guys are. Movement speed 3.49. There are some upgraded greaves which you can get, which are going to give a plus 6% movement speed bonus, so I will get them to at least give a slight increase, but nothing really major. The other thing these guys lose over the lesser armoured legionaries is they no longer get a pillar to throw, so they have no ranged attack at all. But they do get the parry buff, which gives them plus 40% melee defense, which is actually it's only 8 seconds, but it's actually a pretty decent defense increase. It kind of works in a similar way to Oath of Perseverance, with that you just don't get stuck. But then afterwards, obviously, like all these moves, you get the movement speed, a negative buff, debuff, probably a better way of putting it. So we've got some armoured legionaries pushing through the forest, about to be attacked by dogs. Some more legionaries in the bottom. We've got a team of guys here with us. Kind of a hard one to know how to play. I would have thought these guys should be able to deal with the dogs, really. Those guys are pushing that way, so I'm going to make my move up. Now we know where everything's going. We could send a unit down to support into these armoured legionaries with the veterans, but really I would rather push... Oh, they've got archers. That is unfortunate. It's going to make our life a lot more difficult. So we'll send one unit off there. We'll split these guys off. We'll split one off to him, and we'll split one down here. We're completely going to split our force. Obviously they've got the guys they can safely hide behind. A nice early charge, which we won the engagement nicely. I'm just going to go straight in with... going to try and turn on these hoplites, but they're just going to run straight past me. Any chance of catching up with these archers? Probably not really. What's going on here? Dogs? No, legionaries. Right, let's get stuck in there. Too much going on. Can't control. Don't turn around very quickly. Got rear charge there. So, am I winning that fight? Slightly. So, vengeance there. Anyone who's not got a parry going. Okay, so we're winning this fight in the woods here. We've got a battle going on against these legionaries here, which we're sort of neck and neck, but we're beginning to take some losses now. I'm not sure why. We should be able to beat them. I don't know if they're in formed combat. They are. Perhaps we should be going into formed combat. These guys here are obviously completely like surrounded. We're doing a good amount of damage, but it looks like we may end up routing if we're not careful because we're taking a lot of losses. And in here we are actually winning. So, right, where's everyone? Reactivate our buff there. We're losing this fight quite badly now. This one, how's it going? We're doing more damage to them, particularly given we're surrounded, which is obviously quite good. They're struggling to go into hoplite mode because I think they're both facing each other. They don't want to cause any friendly damage. But these guys are back free and moving, so why are they stood there? Come on. That fight is lost. That fight is lost as well, but we're doing well at least in the meantime. So let's push into the back of these Principes. Obviously we've lost now our Vicious Strikes buff. We'll get our charge. Obviously we're going so slowly through this forest. And these guys are finished. So probably those guys are as well shortly. This is turning into just a really vicious but probably quite short battle as we are rapidly losing everything. These archers are obviously a massive pain for us. And we're now completely surrounded in the forest. The battle is slightly in our favour, but we're going to take some losses now as we get rear flanked. We're going to rout there. So these guys have gone. So all we've got is a few guys left facing off against these foot companions. Not quite sure why they've not gone into hoplite mode. Seems a little strange, perhaps. We've still got vengeance activated, so let's keep some pressure upon these foot companions if we can. Good job on those archers with our friendly cavalry. That's, you know, a real big threat out the way. Right, they're gone into hoplite mode, so let's try and get out if we can. We've obviously got the speed debuff from the... They've broken phalanx, so let's turn back around on them. We've obviously lost our vicious strikes, our vengeance. It was a bit of a tougher fight than I had perhaps intended to get into there. I advanced and then more enemies appeared than I thought. I hadn't ranked on the archers, which kind of forced me... I didn't want to stand around with lots of archers, so kind of felt that forced my hand a little bit. Still a few legionaries there to deal with. I'm just trying and keep safe for now. I don't know why these veteran legionaries haven't turned around with one of their units yet. So wait for them to get rear charged. And we'll repeat the same manoeuvre in return. I don't know what these guys are doing. They're just routing for no reason. Pay attention, please. Okay, so that's about a heavy infantry charge. They're turned around to face us. Good move on their part. But we should be able to at least get a little bit of damage in. Try and hold some sort of attempt at formed ranks for this fighting. We should be able to outclass them a bit. They might be fully upgraded where we aren't. So that could be a little bit tough for us. I'm taking some casualties now. We've not got a lot of men left to start with. But we should win the fight at least. And gained a little bit more aggression points. We've got quite a few defense points and support points as well. So we keep moving in to help different allies. So the enemy base is being captured. We've got no one back at our base. So hopefully all the enemies are here, or else we're going to be in trouble. It's still a pretty close battle. It could kind of go either way. The enemies are fairly grouped up here. We've still got some good units of high tier foot companions still alive. So I've not really talked that much actually about the unit themselves. So as you saw from that, they are okay. They're not fully upgraded yet, so that's not very helpful for them. And things like the weapon upgrade will make a big difference. So it gives quite a lot of increase to not only attack but armor penetration damage. So that will be useful, particularly when you activate Vengeance. That should increase their multiplier even more. And they've still got some armor upgrade and the movement speed upgrade, which will make them a little bit quicker, though still not a lot. Let's come out of forward combat. So you can see now how they're slipping behind the veteran legionaries. These are the lightly armoured guys, or more lightly armoured guys, I believe, at tier 7. And you see they're moving quite a lot quicker than we are, although they're perhaps not much quicker actually, just a little. So we'll continue to push up. Looks like this... Well, I think this battle is going in our favour. I'm just not entirely sure. So the dogs are moving in. All the dogs are going for those Principes. Oh, they got quite a bit of knockdown there. High levels of aggression from the dogs. So we'll keep pushing up. But yeah, they are a very good all-round unit. You can stick them in a fight. You know, you have Vengeance. They're a particularly effective unit in any sort of engagement. It's just that they can kind of struggle a bit, particularly against Phalanxmen. We've not encountered any Phalanxmen in this game, but you really have got to watch out for those guys, and they'll make life a little bit harder for you. I'm conscious of wanting to help, but at the same time, I don't want to get slaughtered, considering we got a pretty close game here. Let's rear charge into the remains of these Principes. There we go, did quite a bit of damage there. We'll activate straight away Vengeance, since we could well end up just getting slaughtered pretty quickly in this battle. We're not going to go into formed combat because it's sort of just a bit all over the place, and as people stand back up, hopefully we'll get a bit of damage on them. The problem is just not a lot left of us really to do a great deal of damage against these guys. Oh, big cavalry charge by there, what remains of the enemy Greek cavalry. I think we're kind of in trouble here. The battle is really starting to tip against us now. And there go our last people. These guys are all going to rout now in one mass. And is all we've really got left are these elite companions. I know they think they're being helpful by capping, but they're not going to be able to be in safety for long enough to cap out. And then, really, then they're going to be fighting on their own because they've just sort of left the rest of the team to completely die. So I really feel that was kind of an error on this part. It'd be better if they came and helped and just left the capping for a moment. There we go, one on timeout in the end. Not a particularly impressive fight at the end, just the cavalry managed to avoid any further fighting and such. He managed to win the day. So let's take a quick look at the stats. 7,000 free experience. Not an amazing game, we were just pretty bog standard average. Got a reasonable amount of aggression in when we got stuck in those fights. I kind of made the mistake of, as I pushed forwards, I kind of got caught up in all those archers and I felt I had to make a decisive move. So I ended up completely splitting my forces and pushing into 3 different units. It might have been wiser perhaps to push all 3 forces into the forest, to push into the back of the enemy legions that were attacking the war dogs. Then we could have probably won that fight and I'd have preserved the larger part of my force. But, you know, as we play these games we learn more and more. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. A little bit different in the sense that it's not such a good battle. I normally try and get quite a successful battle, but that was obviously not such a good one for me. So hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Do you prefer the Armored Legionaries or do you prefer the ordinary Legionaries? Have I took the wrong path? Let me know what you think. Thanks, guys, and I shall see you all on the next episode.